Hi, welcome to G-Code 2.0 summer of 2023. The duration of this program lasted a little less than 2 months and gave us the time to build our apps, which ultimately led to us showcasing all of our work in 5 different groups with 5 different very stellar apps. Each group and their apps had its own spice, flavor, personality, style, and that eventually led to a very good and collaborative outcome for each app.
Hello, my name is Taryn Close Gray. I'm one of the front-end engineers on the TheraCare project. While working on this project, I got the pleasure to work alongside some wonderful people. First is Shakira, who is a very creative and relatable teammate, who was our designer of our app. Davey, a very energetic and determined peer, who was both our front-end and back-end engineer. Next is Nasir. Nasir was our back-end engineer and researcher for basically everything on the app. Next is Jay. He was one of our main back-end engineers, and I really enjoyed working with him. Next is Frederick, our tester and back-end engineer. We had to put our heads together to brainstorm an idea or a purpose for our app. We first thought of a problem we felt that needed to be solved. We all agreed that we all get stressed at times, and that mental health needs to be more talked about and better prioritized. The purpose of our app is to give the necessary mental and emotional support to users. We ask our users how they feel and why, so they can be aware of what makes them feel the way they do, as well as to write out their feelings. This helps users to be conscious to what helps or what is triggering. Since most studies have shown that certain colors can affect or trigger certain emotions, we wanted a scheme such as green or orange to make our users feel relaxed and at ease. When our users first open the app, they select an emoji on our emoji page to see and describe how they currently feel. By selecting an emoji, a hyperlink sends them to a series of questions that correlate to their emoji mood. Once the user hits the save button, it brings them back to the general page. On the main page, one of the tabs is a list of therapists and their descriptions and pricing. I could really feel the passion of wanting to make a difference or do big things with this app. In the end, I speak for myself and the behalf of my teammates when I say having this opportunity was, yes, tough, but also a rewarding journey.
Hi, I'm Shauna Walters, and I was the lead programmer for the app Scrolls. My teammates were Jonathan, our teacher, Deborah, the lead designer and UI designer, Myasia, who was the product manager and our app tester, and Tony, who was our documenter and enabler. Our process was basically, we all threw out an idea. We figured that we wanted the idea for helping with, keeping your life together, a sports tracker, a fitness tracker. We got on the idea of fitness, and then Jonathan brought up making a notes app that has all of those categories to keep track of it like that in a more easy manner, and that's what we went with because, it seemed like the easiest option, and we thought we could do it in time, and we did do it in time, technically. The design process itself was very fun. We had fun picking out colors and everything. We were initially going to go with black and pink or try and get this daytime, nighttime thing going on, but we found this, Deborah found this one great color palette online, and we all really liked it, so we went with that, and it still had pink in it, so it was kind of going along with our original idea. And the reason for the name is I figured maybe we should go with scrolls, because medieval scrolls and how they had a bunch of stuff typed on them, and everyone seemed to agree because, it sounded nice. And it wasn't Hot Notes or Notes app or any of the generic things, so it made us special. The app itself, you go to add note, you type in a note, you save it to whatever category you want, and then you save that and it will be on your main screen. You can delete it if you want to, you could add on to it and edit it. My personal experience, it was very fun. I loved helping out with the design process of it. I adored doing normal code.
Hi, my name is Leslie Martinez Quintero. This summer I worked on an app called Lost Bonds. So Lost Bonds is a choice game, meaning that the choices that you make in the game will affect the outcome or the ending that you get. The main reason or the main purpose why we made this game was not only for entertainment, but to give the audience a sense of control. The background or backstory of the game is that the protagonist, Alex Rodriguez, is looking for his long-lost accomplice, Ron. But he wakes up in this forest and he doesn't remember anything. So he doesn't remember as to why he's there. All he has is the feeling that he's looking for someone. As he journeys through this endless forest, he keeps meeting this strange man. And he doesn't know what the man wants from him and why he keeps appearing. This app or this game was only made possible by 7 people. The first person I'd like to introduce was our wonderful designer, Anai. Every little design aspect of the game she chose. Next was our project manager, Bo. But he also made sure that there were no conflicts in our code before merging it to main so that there was no problems. Next, I'd like to introduce our DevOps, Ayomide. Ayomide had the task of making sure that the game worked on an actual phone, making sure every button, every view, everything that could possibly in the app was working smoothly and correctly. Our Q&A tester is the next role I'd like to introduce, which was Nizea. Nizea worked with the target audience receiving any feedback. Last but not least, I'd like to introduce the engineer, which was I. I worked as the front end and the back end engineer. So anything that no one wanted to figure out, I had to figure out. The next role I'd like to introduce was our wonderful and amazing team advisors. Tanusha helped with making sure that we were doing our task and making sure that we were actually working in the time we were supposed to. Our next team advisor for Lost Bonds was Hamza. Hamza made sure that everything in the background, so all the code was running smoothly, every little thing was how it was supposed to be, grammatically wise, code wise, everything. In conclusion, Lost Bonds and Generation Code was a great experience for me.
Hi, good morning. My name is Lori Johnson, and I was the leader and teacher for our team app called Teen Ops. And I'm here to talk about the process of creating and constructing the design and the entirety of our app. So I obviously want to introduce my team, which are my students, Brandon, Kariatu, Aisha, KJ, Jenna, Abdul, and Zach. During the brainstorming process, it was a very difficult but wonderful creative space where at that moment, kids were throwing so many ideas onto the board. I remember jotting on exactly 22 ideas actually. The process of making the app was quite short actually. It was 2 weeks to be exact. Most people have a month or a year to create an app, but these wonderful students did all that work in 2 weeks, and I'm very proud of them for that. The flow of the app, there's 2 options, considering if you are a teen or a company. Being a teen, you would be someone looking for jobs or internship or summer program. Being a company, you would be a company looking for students to apply to your internship, interns for your internship, or students for your summer program. So, obviously, from that starting point, you'd be led on 2 separate roads or separate paths that branches off up until you reconnect back onto a homepage, which we call the op list. Obviously, there'll be a back button option if there was ever a mishap where you misclicked or anything, so it's able to run smoothly back and forth.
Hi, my name is Aiden, and I was the junior teacher in charge of Team Purple. My job as a junior teacher was to take my young engineer's idea for an app and walk them through the creative design process along with the coding process in order to make their app a reality. I'm gonna click on Branchbrook. So you click on Branchbrook from the list of parks, and we have an image of Branchbrook Park, the state, and a small description of it, not really that much. But at the bottom, you have a button that says "I am here." You just press on that, and you go to, and it takes you to an entire list of all the species that could be found in that area, or these are all the species that can be found in Branchwood Park. I'm gonna click on the deer. Here. So once you click on the animal you saw from the list, obviously in case you made a mistake and that's not the animal, you could go back and click on another one. You could just keep going back and switching between them until you find the right animal. But going back to the deer, we're on our deer. The first thing you see under the image is the danger level. That was a feature that DJ came up with, because if you see, obviously you're in the middle of the wilderness, so it's good to know first thing whether or not the animal you're in contact with, or not in contact, but the animal you see is dangerous. So for our deer, it says medium, which makes sense because deer aren't really known to attack, but they are definitely able to. I have a lot of fond memories with my team when it comes from whether it be TikToks, looking at stuff with sports, superheroes, anime, all sorts of stuff. I should probably tell you who those people are. So we have Michael as our backend. He was the one doing a lot of the coding. Obviously everyone coded, but he was the one doing a lot of the things that you don't see on the screen. And then we have Yassine, who's the data engineer. So all the information, or most of the information we needed to put into the app, that you could find on the internet, he's the one that typed that in there. We had Kimberly as our product manager. She was doing the pushes and pulls from GitHub to make sure the whole app comes together. We have Esteban, he was the creative designer. He's the one that created our splash page. We have Josh, he's the QA engineer. He was testing out on his phone. And we have DJ, she was the front end, so she did the things, she created the pages that you do see on the screen, like the buttons and stuff like that.